This is a no equipment mobility workout you can do at home. This will take only 10 minutes a day. Structure is 45 seconds on, 15 seconds rest. I want you to get a mat and a foam roller. Ready? Let's go. Hip internal rotation. A lot of people sit too much and this causes tight hips, and the internet makes us believe we should stretch, but you need to rebuild strength and control. The intention of this is to move slowly and controlled. The moment you rush the movement, you won't get the benefit of strengthening the hip. Work within your pain-free range. Think of pushing your knees against the foam roller and you will really feel this in your top of your glutes. If you can rest your head on a pillow. Now we're transitioning over to the other side. This is the right leg now. I want you to think carefully and assess which leg is stronger. If you feel that your right leg has more cramping than the left leg, I want you to make a mental note of that. Ready? Let's go. Next up, we are working on hip cars. Cars is controlled articular rotations. You want to move in your pain-free range. Don't copy my range of motion. You want to make sure to follow through exactly where your hips go. Try to think of embracing your core and moving your hips without bending that lower spine. You'll notice that I'm not arching my back in any point of this movement, and that's not the point of getting a full range. Your point is to work within the current range that you have. Up next is working on our other leg. So same thing with this, I want you to assess your current range of motion and feel which parts feel pain or pinchness. Up next, hip external rotation. The point of this is to remember that stretch at the back of the glutes. So you want to arch your back a little bit at the back and make sure to bring your right leg or left leg in front to make sure you have a stretch at your big glutes. I don't want you to just feel the stretch. I want you to use that right leg or right foot and push against that left knee. Mobility is all about strengthening, not stretching. I want you to ingrain this mindset into every strength training exercise that we do here. If you feel a tightness in your back glute, I want you to make a note of that. Think to yourself, am I actually feeling it in my glutes, or am I feeling it in my low back, or am I not feeling it at all? If you push that right leg into that left knee, you'll really feel your glute a lot more than if you're to just passively stretch. Up next is hip adduction raises. This works the inner part of the groin. Inner part of the groin is the part that stabilizes your hip the most. If you have instability in your hip, it's going to compensate in many ways, such as your glute and low back. If you feel this range is too challenging, you want to lie down a lot more so you can lift your leg controllably up and down. Up next is hip abduction raises. This strengthens the outer portion of our hip. Now that we've strengthened our inner portion, now let's work on the outer part. This is the big key stabilizers in your hip that helps you run, sprint, and walk. If you notice any clicking or any pain, I want you to stop the movement. Any clicking is not a bad sign. It just means that you're just activating the small stabilizer muscle that are responsible for the hip. Next up, we're doing a good morning to a squat. A good morning is the best compound exercise to work on your inner thighs and hamstrings all at once, as well as strengthening the low back. Ready? Let's go. If you find that you can't squat low, I want you to just work in that current range of motion and make sure you turn your feet out 45 degrees to open up that capsular space in your hip. And for the good mornings, I want you to keep your low back as flat as possible and focus that strength and tension in the hamstrings and glutes. Over time, you'll notice if you work on your hamstring and glute flexibility, this would help increase your flexibility and mobility overall. Up next, we have the hip flexor psoas focus. This is a complex movement which you need to posterior tilt your pelvis. What that means is push your butt down in towards the ground so you feel a lot of the activation in the inner hip. What I want you to do for this movement is not just stretch it. I want you to push that knee down into the ground into a curving motion. Notice that I'm tucking in my pelvis like so, and I'm pushing that knee toward the ground, and I feel way more tension in my hip flexors. Alright, up next is the hip bridge. This is a spinal segmentation mobility focus. It's not just any hip bridge that you see on the internet, but it's one that's focused on flexing your spine at the very bottom of the movement and contracting the glutes at the very top. I want you to think of lowering to the bottom, segment by segment, one at a time, until your glutes touch down. Your glutes should be a last point of contact, while thinking of your low back flexing into the ground. This activates your lower part of the core, and that's why we consider strengthening the core as well. If you guys really like this video, I'll do a part 2 on core strengthening for the low back. Otherwise, subscribe and make sure to see you around. Leave a like and a comment.